Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something real today. Confidence and personality are not gifts that only a few lucky people receive. They are built. They are developed daily. You know, the good news is you don't have to change your whole life overnight to become a better version of yourself. All it takes is what you do every single day. Every morning you wake up, you are given another chance to decide who you're going to be. Not who you were yesterday, not who people say you are, but who you choose to become. The first daily habit that improves your personality is how you talk to yourself. If you wake up complaining, doubting, and replaying old failures in your mind, you're already losing the day. But if you wake up and say, I'm growing, I'm learning, and I'm becoming better, you shift your entire energy. Confidence begins in your mind before it ever shows on the outside. Ladies and gentlemen, let me talk to you about something that sounds simple but changes everything when you truly live. It's starting every day with purpose and self-belief. Most people don't fail because they lack talent. They fail because they wake up without direction. They let the day attack them instead of stepping into the day with intention. The moment you open your eyes in the morning, life is already asking you a question: who are you going to be today? And how you answer that question determines the level of confidence you walk in. Purpose doesn't mean you have everything figured out. Purpose means you know that your life has meaning beyond your current situation. You may not like where you are, but you must believe deeply in where you are going. Self-belief is the decision to trust yourself even when there is no evidence yet. It's saying, I don't see it right now, and I believe it's coming. That belief becomes your fuel when motivation disappears. Too many people start their day by checking their phone, scrolling through other people's lives, comparing themselves, and feeling behind before they even get out of bed. That habit kills confidence. Before the world gets your attention, you need to give yourself some attention. Speak to yourself with authority. Tell yourself you are growing. Tell yourself you are capable. Tell yourself that today matters. When you program your mind in the morning, you don't let circumstances control your attitude. Self-belief is not arrogance. It's quiet confidence. It's not shouting, look at me. It's standing firm and saying, I know who I am. And that kind of belief is built through repetition. You don't say something once and expect it to stick. You say it every day. You remind yourself every day. Just like fear grows through repeated negative thoughts, confidence grows through repeated positive truth. Purpose gives you a reason to keep going when things get uncomfortable, and let me tell you something, real growth is uncomfortable. If you are comfortable all the time, you are not growing. Purpose reminds you why the struggle is worth it. When you wake up with purpose, setbacks don't break you, delays don't discourage you, and criticism doesn't define you. You understand that every challenge is connected to something bigger. Self-belief also means forgiving yourself for your past. You cannot walk confidently into your future while dragging yesterday's mistakes behind you. You are not your worst decision. You are not your lowest moment. Every confident person you admire had moments they are not proud of. The difference is they didn't let those moments become their identity. They learned, they adjusted, and they kept moving. When you believe in yourself, your energy changes. People feel it before you speak. You don't beg for validation. You don't chase approval. You don't shrink to make others comfortable. You show up as yourself. That authenticity strengthens your personality because you are no longer pretending to be someone else. Purpose also keeps you focused. Without purpose, you get distracted easily. You start things and don't finish them. You doubt yourself halfway through. But when you know why you're doing something, you push through boredom, fatigue, and fear. Confidence grows when you see yourself staying consistent, even on days you don't feel like it. Every morning, you should remind yourself that you are a work in progress, not a finished product. That mindset removes pressure and builds patience. You stop expecting perfection and start expecting progress. And progress, no matter how small, strengthens belief. One step taken with confidence is more powerful than 1,000 steps imagined with doubt. Purpose and self-belief are daily choices, not once a year, not when things are going well, every single day. Some days you will feel strong, some days you won't, but belief doesn't depend on feelings, it depends on commitment. And the moment you commit to believing in yourself, even when it's hard, you begin to separate yourself from the crowd. Let me speak to you about discipline in your thoughts and daily habits, because this is where confidence is either built or destroyed. Most people think confidence comes from success, money, or recognition. But that's not true. Confidence comes from control. Control over your mind, control over your actions. When you master discipline, you stop being a slave to moods, excuses, and distractions. Your mind is the most powerful tool you have. But if you don't discipline it, it will work against you. Every day, thoughts enter your head without permission. Doubt shows up. Fear shows up. Negative memories show up. Discipline is not stopping those thoughts from coming. Discipline is choosing which thoughts you allow to stay. Confident people are not free from negative thoughts. They are just better at rejecting them. If you allow your mind to replay failures all day, you will walk like a defeated person. But when you discipline your thinking, you say that thought doesn't serve me, and then you replace it with truth. This takes practice. Just like muscles grow in the gym, mental strength grows through repetition. Every time you choose a better thought, you are training your confidence. Daily habits reveal who you really are. You can say you want confidence, but your habits tell the truth. If you constantly delay, quit early, or avoid responsibility, your self-respect slowly fades. And when self-respect fades, confidence goes with it. Discipline is doing what needs to be done even when you don't feel like it, especially when you don't feel like it. Let me tell you something important. Small habits matter more than big promises. You don't build confidence by making huge plans you never complete. You build confidence by keeping small commitments to yourself, waking up on time, completing a task, finishing what you start. Every time you do what you said you would do, you send a message to yourself that you can be trusted, and self-trust is confidence. Discipline also teaches you patience. In a world that wants everything instantly, disciplined people understand that growth takes time. They don't quit because results are slow. They don't complain because progress is invisible. They stay consistent, and consistency changes how you see yourself. When you know you can stay committed even without applause, your confidence becomes unshakable. Your daily routine either sharpens your personality or weakens it. If your day is full of chaos, your mind becomes chaotic. But when you create structure, your thinking becomes clear. Simple routines like planning your day, setting priorities, and managing your time give you a sense of control, and control creates calm. Calm creates confidence. Discipline means learning to say no. No to distractions, no to bad habits, no to people who drain your energy. Confident people are not available to everything and everyone. They protect their focus, they respect their time. When you respect your time, others respect you too. That respect strengthens your personality. Let's talk about discomfort. Discipline requires you to be uncomfortable. You will feel tired. You will feel bored. You will feel resistance. But confidence grows in discomfort. Every time you push through resistance, you prove to yourself that you are stronger than your excuses. That proof stays with you. It changes how you see challenges in the future. A disciplined mind doesn't panic when things go wrong. It adjusts, it learns, it keeps moving. When something fails, instead of saying, "I can't do this," disciplined thinkers say, "What do I need to improve?" That mindset removes fear and builds resilience. Resilience is a powerful form of confidence. Let me remind you of this. Nobody is disciplined all the time. Discipline is not perfection. It's direction. You will have off days. You will make mistakes. But disciplined people don't quit on themselves. They reset and continue. That ability to restart without self-hate is strength. Let me talk to you about improving how you speak, how you walk, and how you listen. Because confidence is not only something you feel inside, it is something people experience from you long before you say who you are. Your body language, your tone, and your presence speak for you. Personality is expressed through these small daily behaviors, and when you become intentional about them, your confidence naturally rises. The way you speak matters. Confident people don't rush their words. They don't try to fill every silence. They speak clearly, calmly, and with purpose. When you slow down your speech, you give your words weight. You show that you are not nervous, not desperate, and not seeking approval. Even if you feel unsure inside, speaking with control sends a message to your mind that you are in charge. Over time, your feelings catch up with your actions. Many people think confidence means speaking loudly, but that's not true. Confidence is clarity, not volume. When you choose your words carefully, people listen. When you stop over-explaining yourself, you show self-respect. You don't need to prove everything. Say what needs to be said and say it with certainty. That habit strengthens both your personality and your presence. Now, let's talk about how you walk. The way you carry your body reflects how you see yourself. Slouched shoulders, lowered head, and rushed steps communicate insecurity, but when you stand straight, lift your head, and walk with intention, you signal confidence to the world and to yourself. Your body and your mind are connected. Change one and the other begins to change too. Walking with confidence doesn't mean arrogance. It means awareness. You know where you are going. You are not hiding. You are not shrinking. When you enter a room with calm energy without trying to impress anyone, people notice. Confidence is not forcing attention. It is attracting respect. Listening is one of the most powerful yet ignored confidence skills. Insecure people talk too much because they are afraid of being unnoticed. Confident people listen because they are comfortable with themselves. When you truly listen, you show patience, control, and emotional intelligence. People feel value in your presence, and that enhances your personality instantly. Listening also teaches you when to speak and when to stay silent. Silence, when used correctly, is powerful. You don't need to respond to everything. You don't need to argue every point. Confidence allows you to choose your battles. That self-control separates strong personalities from reactive ones. Daily practice is key. You don't improve these things overnight. Start by becoming aware. Pay attention to your posture when you stand and sit. Notice your tone when you speak. Notice how often you interrupt others or rush to respond. Awareness is the first step to change. Another important part of speaking confidently is honesty. Speak truthfully but kindly. Confident people don't hide behind fake personalities. They are comfortable being real. Authenticity builds trust, and trust strengthens your presence. When people trust you, they respect you, and respect feeds confidence. Your walk, your words, and your listening habits also affect how you see yourself. When you act confidently, even on days you don't feel it, your self-image begins to improve. You start to think, maybe I am stronger than I believed. That shift is powerful. Confidence grows from evidence, and your actions provide that evidence. Let me tell you something important. You don't need permission to carry yourself with confidence. You don't need a title, a position, or approval. You give yourself permission through your behavior. Every day you practice speaking with clarity, walking with purpose, and listening with respect. You are shaping a stronger personality. Let me talk to you about building confidence through consistent action, because confidence is not something you wait for. It is something you earn. Too many people sit back and say, when I feel confident, then I'll act. But life doesn't work that way. Confidence comes after action, not before it. You move first and the belief follows. Every time you take action, no matter how small, you send a message to yourself that you are capable. And every time you avoid action, you send a message that fear is in control. Over time, those messages shape Your self-image, consistent action is how you rewrite the story you tell yourself about who you are. Most people underestimate the power of small steps. They think confidence comes from big wins and dramatic moments. But big wins are built on small repeated actions done daily. Making a phone call you've been avoiding, speaking up when you normally stay silent, showing up on time. These actions may seem minor, but they build internal strength, and internal strength is confidence. Consistency matters more than intensity. You don't have to do everything perfectly. You just have to keep showing up. When you act consistently, you begin to trust yourself. You stop questioning whether you'll quit halfway. That trust becomes calmness, and calmness is a clear sign of confidence. Action also breaks overthinking. Many people lack confidence not because they are incapable, but because they think too much and do too little. The mind creates fear when it has too much time to imagine failure. Action interrupts that cycle. Once you start moving, your focus shifts from fear to execution, and with execution comes learning. Consistent action teaches you that mistakes are part of the process. When you act regularly, failure stops feeling like the end of the world. It becomes feedback. You start saying, "I'm not good at this," and start saying, "I'm getting better at this." That shift in language changes your confidence level dramatically. Another powerful benefit of action is momentum. When you take one step, the next step becomes easier. Confidence grows faster when you're in motion. But when you stop, that's why discipline action, even on days you don't feel motivated, is so important. Motivation fades, commitment carries you forward. Consistent action also sharpens your personality. People respect those who do what they say. Reliability builds credibility. When others see you taking action, they respond differently to you. And when people respond differently, you start seeing yourself differently. External results reinforce internal belief. Let me tell you something important. You don't need to be fearless to act. Courage is acting while fear is present. Confident people are not fearless, they are brave. They move despite uncertainty. And every time you do that, your tolerance for discomfort increases. You become stronger mentally. Action also creates clarity. Many people feel lost because they are waiting for clarity before they move. But clarity comes after action. You try, you adjust, you learn. That process builds confidence because you realize you can handle uncertainty. You don't need everything to be perfect to move forward. Consistency also protects you from self-doubt. When you are actively working towards something, you have less time to criticize yourself. Progress, even slow progress, quiets negative voices in your head. You begin to feel proud of yourself, not because you've arrived, but because you're committed. Let me remind you of this. Confidence is not loud, it's steady. It's the quiet assurance that you can handle what comes next because you've been showing up. And that assurance is built through daily action. Let me talk to you about learning from failure instead of fearing it. Because fear of failure has stopped more dreams than lack of talent ever could. Most people don't fail because they tried and lost. They failed because they never tried at all. They let the fear of looking foolish, being judged, or making mistakes control their decisions. And the moment fear becomes your leader, confidence disappears. Failure is not the opposite of success. Failure is part of success. Every confident person you admire has failed more times than you know. The difference is they didn't let failure define them. They used it to refine them. When you change how you see failure, you change how you see yourself. Fear of failure usually comes from attaching your self-worth to outcomes. You start believing that if you fail, you are a failure. That lie destroys confidence. You are not your results. You are a learner, a builder, a work in progress. The moment you understand that failure is feedback, not a final judgment, you gain emotional freedom. Confident people don't avoid failure. They expect it. They understand that growth requires mistakes. When you learn something new, you are supposed to struggle. Struggle doesn't mean you are weak. It means you are stretching. And stretching is uncomfortable but necessary. Every failure carries a lesson, but only if you are willing to look for it. Instead of asking, "Why did this happen to me?" Confident thinkers ask, "What is this trying to teach me?" That question turns pain into progress. It shifts your focus from blame to improvement, and improvement builds confidence. Let me tell you something important. Avoiding failure does not protect your confidence. It slowly destroys it. Every time you back away from a challenge, your mind remembers. It says you quit again over time. That creates self-doubt. But when you face failure and survive it, your mind learns something powerful. I can handle this. That realization strengthens you from the inside. Failure also builds humility and character. It reminds you that you don't know everything, and that's okay. Confident people are not insecure about learning. They are not embarrassed to ask questions. They are not afraid to start again. Pride fears failure. Confidence learns from it. Another reason people fear failure is because of other people's opinions. They worry about being laughed at, judged, or criticized. But let me be clear. People will talk whether you succeed or fail. You cannot build confidence by trying to control opinions you don't own. The strongest personalities are built when you stop living for approval and start living for growth. When you experience failure, take responsibility without self-hate. Say, "I made a mistake." That language matters. How you talk to yourself after failure determines whether you grow or shrink. Self-compassion combined with accountability is a powerful confidence builder. Failure also teaches resilience. Resilience is the ability to get back up without losing belief in yourself. Life will knock you down, that's guaranteed. Confidence in knowing you can stand back up. Every time you recover from a setback, your inner strength increases. You stop fearing challenges because you trust your ability to recover. Let me remind you of this. The pain of failure is temporary, but the regret of not trying lasts longer. Years from now, you won't be haunted by the things you tried and failed at. You'll be haunted by the chances you never took. Confident people choose action over regret. Learning from failure also sharpens your decision-making. You become wiser, you spot patterns, you improve your strategy. What once scared you now educates you, and knowledge reduces fear. The more you learn from experience, the more confident you become in handling future situations. Failure doesn't mean stop. It means adjust. It means refine. It means try again with more understanding. Every successful person, a collection of failures behind them. Those failures are not scars to hide. They are proof of courage. Ladies and gentlemen, when you stop fearing failure and start learning from it, you take away fear's power over your life. And in that moment, confidence begins to rise naturally. Let me talk to you about the people you surround yourself within, the environment you choose to live in, because your confidence and personality are constantly being shaped by what you allow around you. Whether you realize it or not, your mindset is influenced daily by conversations, energy, and attitudes you are exposed to. You cannot grow in an environment that is committed to keeping you the same, and many people work hard on themselves but stay connected to negativity. They listen to constant complaining, excuses, and doubt, and then wonder why their confidence feels weak. The truth is, confidence needs support. It needs encouragement, challenge, and inspiration. When your environment feeds fear, your mind absorbs it. When your environment feeds growth, your belief expands. The people around you matter more than you think. If you spend your time with people who make fun of dreams, avoid responsibility, and fear change, you will slowly begin to do the same, not because you want to, but because energy is contagious. You start lowering your standards without realizing it. Confident people are intentional about who they allow access to their time and mindset. Surrounding yourself with growth doesn't mean cutting everyone off or acting superior. It means being honest about influence. Some people are in your life for comfort, others for growth. Comfort feels good, but growth changes your life. Confident people choose growth even when it's uncomfortable. Your environment also includes what you watch, what you listen to, and what you read. If you constantly consume negative news, meaningless content, and discouraging messages, your mind becomes cluttered and anxious. That anxiety weakens confidence. But when you feed your mind with knowledge, motivation, and positive examples, Your thinking becomes clearer and stronger. Let me tell you something important and confident. People protect their mental space. They don't argue with everyone. They don't respond to every opinion. They don't allow disrespect to sit comfortably in their lives. Setting boundaries is not rude, it's self-respect, and self-respect is a core part of confidence. Sometimes improving your environment means spending more time alone. Silence is powerful. Alone time allows you to reflect, plan, and reconnect with your purpose. Many people fear being alone because they don't like facing their thoughts, but confident people use solitude to recharge and refocus. They become comfortable with themselves. Encouraging environments don't always praise you. Sometimes they challenge you. People who truly want to see you grow will tell you the truth, not just what feels good. They will push you to do better, think bigger, and act stronger. That kind of environment builds resilience and sharpens your personality. Let's also talk about distance. Distance can be necessary for growth. Not everyone will understand your journey, and that's okay. You don't need permission to evolve. If someone constantly reminds you of who you used to be, instead of supporting who you're becoming, that connection may be holding you back. Your surroundings should reflect your goals. If you want to grow, your environment must challenge you. If you want confidence, your environment must support courage. You cannot expect inner change while remaining in outer chaos. Order in your space creates order in your mind. Confident people also become a positive influence themselves. They uplift others. They encourage growth. They bring calm energy into rooms. When you improve your environment, you also improve the environment for others. That responsibility strengthens your character and sense of purpose. Let me remind you of this. You don't need a perfect environment to start growing, but you do need to be aware of what is influencing you. Awareness gives you power, choice gives you freedom, and freedom builds confidence. Ladies and gentlemen, when you surround yourself with growth instead of negativity, you stop fighting yourself and start moving forward with strength and clarity. Ready?